Algae is kind of interesting because it's not going to show up on most water tests if there's a lot of algae in the water because it's not fungi or bacteria that's showing up.
People associate algae with this green scum. You know, you see it on rockwool blocks. The thing about it is, though, is it's not always visible. It has bloom cycles, and it's generally when it comes in the presence of nitrogen and phosphorus. When it dies, the material in the chlorophyll, the color dissipates. Then it's viewed as a gray to black to brown, sometimes even tan physical mass. You can almost roll it in your finger, like it literally almost feels like a wet, really smeared up leaf. So now you have a holding tank that looks clear. It's harboring algae that you can't see, and that's not coming up on a test. And the hydroponic solutions itself are a food to the algae that survives. It's still going to create a biofilm. It still is biological. When biofilms grow, they grow in layers. It's the cleaving off of those layers from your pumps and your pipes that you're seeing downstream in the emitters. I don't think it's a coincidence that I also turn and look at the rockwool blocks that are in that same grow, and there's like a 1/4 inch head of algae growing on the top of it, which I think is another important topic as well. And I'm not sure if you have any experience with that.
Yeah, it's certainly messing with some of the properties for water absorption and distribution, and it's providing food for fungus gnats, which are kind of ubiquitous but not great. So it's like a little mat that just harbors a bunch of disease vectors inside the grow room. And I think one of the other issues with algae is that if it's growing in your tanks, in your batch tanks, then its metabolism is going to cause localized changes in pH in those tanks as well, which, as we know, changes in pH are just about the worst thing that can happen when they're going in the direction that you don't want or out of the ranges that you want. So what are any other best practices you think facilities should be including regarding algae, best practices or practical application tips?
I think it's pretty critical for facilities to understand that they should have an SOP around draining their main holding tank. I think especially if they did it right after a fresh filter change, not the same day, because that's too much chaos. Obviously, we don't want to grow at once. But if they were to go, okay, we replace our RO membranes and our filters every 3 months, the week after that, we're going to drain all this water out and let it refill overnight, and then we're going to shock it. Because I go into facilities, and I wish I could say I was exaggerating. I really do. But never one time in the life of that tank's history has it ever been just drained and sprayed out or anything. And they might be adding chlorine to it, but chlorine has a potential to it that can eventually be conquered by how much algae is growing in that holding tank. I see a lot of SOPs, but I don't generally see them based around like a water reset. And I think that is because people go get their water tested and it'll come back as 0 counts of bacteria. But I think there's kind of like a hidden enemy that we're kind of overlooking as an industry out there. So this is an actual case that I dealt with where the customer historically actually had algae in his tank, and a lot of it, and also some other bad things, but mostly algae. We could see it physically growing, like long strips of algae on the bottom of the tank. This facility had never drained their water for 3.5 years. And so we introduced them to sterilizing their water with chlorine, and they had never done it before. But again, now you have a giant holding tank built up with a bunch of algae and bacteria. Then you're introducing something downstream in your system that's going to kill it. Where is that material going to go? So this grow very quickly. Their mixing chambers filled up with dead algae. Their drippers started getting clogged. And like, literally all we had to do to solve this entire issue that was driving this facility nuts was just drain that water out, spray that tank down really well, and refill it and add some chlorine. Now they did that, and the solution is, in my opinion, because I don't like wasting time, is to put a doser on your holding tank. If your algae load and your bacteria load builds up too much in the holding tank, that little 2 ppm you're injecting is now, first of all, not enough to kill it all. And it's also killing something that's coming downstream. Where if you treat the source and the root of the cause with chlorine, the algae can never flourish and grow in there in the first place. So now you don't have any dead plant mass downstream when you kill it again at your injection skin. So it's like getting ahead of it, starting at the source of the problem and not even letting it develop in the first place. because even if you let it go to your skid, you're still killing something there. That's why we're putting the chlorine in there. And I don't think a lot of people realize that's what's happening, and it's something dying. It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's a really high value thing to do for a lot of facilities, because if you're sanitizing your water holding tanks, then you're taking care of a whole bunch of potential problems that can affect you down the line and cost a lot of money and time and effort to fix. So if you got clean water at the start and you keep those tanks clean from the beginning, seems like you're preventing a lot of problems. But not a lot of facilities are built with some sort of injection system to keep their water holding tanks clean. You'll sometimes see facilities come in that have like UV or ozone or something like that, maybe an inline loop, and that's great if they have it, but it's definitely not that common as far as I've seen. How many times have you gone into facilities, and like what percentage of times do they have some sort of water sanitation running for their holding tanks?
2 to 5, 2 to 5% of the time. And you know what the problem is with that is you could run too high of levels of those machines and oxidize fertilizer. And so you just have this like wicked beast of like, what's the proper way to do things, and like what's too much of something, what's too little of something. I think people need to understand, like, when you're filtering water, you are stripping it of all of its defense. You're taking all that away. You just took all the chlorine, all the chloramine, all the fluoride, all the trace elements, everything that made it a healthy structured water, and you just broke it down to this like crazy wild west molecule that's now reverse osmosis water. And it's like, so we're simply just putting back a little bit of something to protect that. There's a documentary called Beer Saved the World, because when they first tried to create civilization, they would pool water up in the middle of a village, and then after like 6 months, everyone would die of dysentery. And the only people who would survive were the drunks, because they were boiling their water to make the beer. And they noticed this, and that's actually where water sterilization came from, to get rid of the bacteria in the water. But it's like, the fact of the matter is like, water harbors life. So anytime it is just sitting there, I don't care if you have the screw lid on your tank or anything like that. Like, I've watched city pipe mains break, and within 1 day, 5 inches of sludge build up on the bottom of a holding tank, and they had a filter there. You have to protect your resources. And like we were talking, water goes to every single surface in that entire building. You're cleaning your hands, you splash it on your face, your plants drink it, people consume it. I mean, it's like, so, I mean, that should be watched like a hawk. Avoid peroxides. People are going to want to look into those, because a lot of them are algicides and stuff. They are rough against fertilizers. You want to just make sure you start clean, like we were saying. And if you start clean like that, then you're just kind of like low maintenance, keeping the system stable, versus trying to have to approach it with a shock.